For decades, I'd heard tales of a trail being developed along the canal in Metamora, Indiana. And now, at long last, there it was. Time to go ride this new adventure. I'll give you some background while I ride out to the trailhead. There were settlers in this area as early as 1811. Metamora was platted in 1838. Early development included the Whitewater Canal and Whitewater Railroad. The Whitewater River runs nearby. Artifacts from all three of these features figure into the ride. The trail runs more or less from the northwest to the southeast, with Metamora a little northwest of center. I started in Metamora and rode the northwest piece as an out and back. After spending a few minutes back at the truck, I rode the southeast piece as an out and back. The whole trail is interesting and fun to ride, but I found the northwest segment more scenic and entertaining. It is bike and hike only. No motorized vehicles or horses allowed. My total distance was 21.6 miles, with a little over 300 feet of climbing, which tells you how flat the trail is. Using Metamora as my base gave my wife something to do while I rode. There are several parking areas scattered along the trail, but they're pretty remote. We went in January, and there's not much open in the depths of winter. A better time would be during the Christmas walk in December, or any time in the warm weather months. On returning from the northwest leg, I found that there's a formal crossing of US 52, and that the trail continues into Metamora. The road segment I did at the first is completely unnecessary. I could have ridden the streets to get back to the truck, but opted to shortcut behind the state-run Metamora grist mill because the truck was parked across from it. As far as I know, the rail line that runs beside much of the trail is used only for excursion trains coming down from Connorsville. But those trains and the maintenance of way equipment used to keep the tracks in shape mean this is an active rail line. Pay attention, especially at crossings, of which there are several. Also be sure to cross the tracks at right angles when safe to do so to reduce the risk of crashing. The trail is all gravel. It has a good gravel base that's capped with fines, which is finely crushed stone. It could have stood compaction, and I was plowing stone with my 38mm tires. My mountain bike would have been a better choice. The material will pack down with time and use, but will likely never be a good surface for narrow road bike tires. Also, the entire trail remains a work in progress, and the surface transitions occasionally from fines to coarser gravel. Still perfectly rideable with the right bike and the right skills. Now, as to the features along the trail, the most prominent are the many locks. The swing mechanisms and wooden gates are long gone, but the walls remain. Some appear as solid as when they were still in use. Some are clearly failing. Rehabilitating these structures would probably be prohibitively expensive, and I don't expect the state to step up to the task. Who knows, they may. But for now, visitors are asked not to walk atop those failing structures in an effort to extend the time until they fall down. The other standout feature is the Duck Creek Aqueduct, located on the southeastern edge of Metamora. This structure, built in 1846, carries the Whitewater Canal over Duck Creek. Adjacent structures similarly carry the road and the rail line. While the northwest segment feels remote and is more scenic, the southeast piece runs between US 52 and farmland. Traffic noise is not a problem, but it does have a presence. There are trees along the trail corridor, but not dense woods, and the fact that the Whitewater River is nearby adds little appeal. I've not been down the entire 101-mile length of the Whitewater. I'm sure sections of it are quite beautiful, but not the sluggish, sludgy piece of it that runs here. And there are other short bits of less scenic stretches owing not to Mother Nature, but to human nature. So is the Whitewater Canal Trail worth riding? In itself, it's worth at least one ride to check it out if you don't have to travel too far to do it. By the same token, Metamora itself is a nice day trip, but not worth flying in from another state. But to consider the trail, the town, and all the other events and features as discrete items is to miss the appeal of the place. Taken as a whole, Metamora and its surroundings are great fun to visit. We took our grandkids there for several years to do their Christmas shopping when they were still young. I would sometimes build in time for me to do a road or gravel ride. I also rode from Madison to Metamora in 2006, joined by my riding buddy Rick Lowstutter. Here's part of the review I did for one of my websites at the time. The best times to visit Metamora are spring and autumn. Summers can be hot and humid. Generally, late winter and early spring are slow. They used to roll up to sidewalks after the Christmas walk, and most shops didn't reopen until April. There are a few shops open in winter, mostly those of proprietors who live on the property or nearby. There's also an ebb and flow through the years of Metamora. It is not as consistently rewarding as, say, Nashville, Indiana. In fact, after taking the grandkids to Metamora for several years, we saw that it was in decline, with fewer shops open and a generally unkempt appearance. And food choices, which had always been limited, became even worse, and the food that could be found was hardly worth eating. So we took the grandkids to Nashville for a few years. Based on our experience this day, and a discussion I had with a local proprietor, it would seem Metamora is on the upswing again. The Whitewater Canal Trail is surely part of what is bringing the town back to life. If you visit Metamora on a good day, you can have a great time. The shops, the people, the grist mill, a chance to ride on a canal boat, the opportunity to bike or hike the Whitewater Canal Trail simply makes it that much more special. I'm Rich Reese, and I'll see you out there. Are you and your organization getting the recognition you deserve? Do you have the information you need for effective decision-making? I provide writing, research, photography, and videography services to commercial enterprises, DMOs, trade associations, and other market-oriented enterprises, and I've been doing so since 1985. To find out how I can help you be better at what you do, send me an email at richreesemedia@gmail.com. That's richreesemedia@gmail.com. I look forward to working with you.